All right. So what I wanted to do tonight is I wanted to share with you, we call it Pony to Wow. It's one of the first things in a classroom that I like to cover. And the reason being is because the ponytail is such an important part of a base. So if you look at the pictures that you've got on your screen here, the PowerPoint is huge, great.
Yes.
Good. I'm going to swap it back to the bigger screen of me soon. So, so you've got the visuals because
That's my job.
good. Okay, sorry.
No, you need to do that. I'm reading.
Right. I forget which jobs were.
I know.
I know. Okay.
Well, I can do the hair.
That could be a problem because Rachel's job is actually microblading. So you do one here, but it's actually my eyebrows. So really, the Pony to Wow the ponytail is a great base, and without knowing what the ponytail, how to actually put the ponytail in, we're going to be in all sorts of trouble. So how many of you would agree that a ponytail can actually be one of the hardest things that you're going to be doing? So who agrees that a ponytail can actually be quite a challenge? It really can be quite a challenge. So, and I'm not even going to look to see whether they're saying yes.
Good, you can't help yourself.
I know, I can't.
Oh, you should see what's written. That said, absolutely agree.
Oh, good.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. So if I have a little look at, let's see if I can move this one around. Of course, let's just stop that little share and then I'll bring that back to me. Okay. What I've got is I've got two mannequins. I've got one that hasn't been prepared, and then I've got, just like the kitchen store, I've got one that has been prepared. So let's just start chatting with, and just for time wise as well. So let's chat about the importance of prepping hair. So if I was to ask you what's the hardest thing about creating a ponytail, what would you say the hardest part about creating a ponytail would be? So who can tell me what is the hardest part about doing a ponytail?
Am I allowed to answer?
Well, you could answer, yes. Well,
getting it smooth without bumps. That's what I would have said.
Oh, yeah, good. Well, there you go. Getting it smooth without bumps. That's exactly right. So the first thing that we've got to do is we've actually got to make sure that we directional blow dry and we get rid of all those lumps and bumps. If you want a really smooth base, that is, okay? So we're going to talk about different bases as we're going. So whenever I'm prepping hair, the first thing that I like to do is I always like to add in the beautiful. So, and even Rachel, when she's doing a blow dry, or if I've got a client in the salon, the first thing that I always do is talk about put the beautiful in before you put the hold in. So I always like to use an argan oil. Always go for something that's fairly light. So this is the Unite You oil. So I would have put just a couple of little squirts into my hand and then straight the way through and all the way through from mid-lengths to ends, all the way through. Now that's always on dry hair. I never start with wet hair. I always start with a dry base. Now can you see even the volume that she's actually got? There you go, George is up and running. So I never work with animals and children apparently, Rachel. Did you know that? So if you look at the volume that we've actually got happening here, I need to get rid of that volume so that my ponytail stays really, really nice and tight and I can pop it in as easy as humanly possible. Okay, the product that I'm going to use at the base of my ponytail has to be something that is not going to give me too much volume at all, because if I've got too much volume, like a mousse or anything like that, it's going to defeat the purpose. So I'm going to use the Unite blow dry and set lotion. And let me show you where we start. So how many of you have seen me prepping before for a ponytail? Has anyone ever seen the prepping that we create a ponytail for? Yes. Great. Okay, so that might just be, and for those of you who haven't seen it, and I know there is a good few hundred people, and I know that it might not be that you're watching it live. So for those of you who are watching it live and for those of you watching the recording, I'm just going to remind you on how we do it. So this is my curve comb. I use it a lot for creating waves and a lot for the ponytail as well. Now, the head is not straight. So why would I use a straight comb? That's why we had developed this beautiful carbon comb that is really, really nice and heavy and tough on the hair. So I want my ponytail to be sitting just below the crown. Okay, so just below the crown is where this ponytail is going to be sitting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my section using the curve comb, and I'm going to take it on a diagonal all the way down. Okay, so it's not a straight parting, it's quite a diagonal section. Then I'm going to take my curve comb and I'm just going to bring it up towards where I'm wanting this ponytail to go. So you're always directing it in the section where you're wanting to go to.
Is that though what you wanted?
Oh,
they were on the floor.
Oh, that's great. Now look at this sectioning clips that my beautiful girlfriend has just gave me.
Saved her again. Oh.
That's called a pin curl.
Well, I don't know. Oh, we're going to get personal on the video, are we?
How about I go for one of these rather than a pin curl clip? So she's a great host. Okay, so we're going to go section by section, and we're going to we're going to basically put the product in piece by piece, and reason why, or section by section I should say. If I went in and just went through all the hair with a whole heap of product, personally I think what happens is you end up with sticky areas. It's not even, you don't get that even distribution. So all I'm going to do is take a little bit of the blow and set lotion and just rub it, so it's about the size of a 5-cent piece. Rub it right into my hands and come all the way through like so. So right onto the dry hair. So, and you can see I'm really working that in. My hands a little white. I'm just going to use my Glam Palm. So I love the Glam, a good hairdryer is super, super, duper important. And I love the Absolute Styling Glam Palm. I love the cool button, and you'll notice that when I turn it on, the cool button, every time I'm touching the cool button, you'll see that it will actually change color from the red. Okay, so I'm going to take my curve comb, and now where you hold this is really important. A lot of people, because it's a different shape, so it'll take you a little bit to get your head around it, but really hold on to this comb really, really nice and steady, so that you actually create a really nice hold and its strength on there.
Nolene loves her blow away like yours.
Oh, I do too. And it's nice and light, isn't it? It's a light blow dryer. The really cool thing about being able to go section by section is you can literally see the difference as it's going, and it's really nice and flat. So the next section would be coming all the way down. So basically when you're picking a product, pick something that is no volume. Okay, so no volume whatsoever. Really long section. Now this is where it takes everybody a bit of getting used to the curve comb, because if you look at the normal comb, this comb here would only pick up this amount of hair. Can you see how much faster I can work with that comb? It is just, there's no comparison whatsoever. So I can basically take the whole head and be blow drying that whole section all in one. So it just makes my life so much easier. Okay, so I would then carry on section by section, taking the next section, and it will just all join going in the direction of where that ponytail is going to be living. I then follow through to the opposite side. So on the opposite side, I would do exactly the same thing. And then when it gets to this front section, of course, because the curve of the comb sits on the same shape of the head, I will section out that top piece, probably into 2 if it's finer hair. If it's thick curly hair, we might do it into 3, and we would blow dry back and back. Okay, so any questions so far at all? So product wise, we're using a non-voluminous product, which is why I've gone for the blow and set lotion. Okay,
No questions.
good, good, good. All right, so now that our base is done, so we've got a really nice base that's already blow dried up, and the mannequin that I'm going to be finishing is already pre-done. Now that we've got all that base all pre-done, of course, it's now time to make sure that we've worked what's happening with the pony on the ends. And that just depends on what kind of finish you're going to be doing. So for the finish that I'm going to be doing today, I'm basically going to be blow drying it smooth, but I'm not going to really push it too much for the simple reason that I want to end up with a little bit of a bend to it that we're going to do with an iron as well. So I'm just going to take my section. So, and when it comes to blow drying, and to be perfectly honest, I love to talk about the time saver brush. If has anyone got one? Has anyone got a time saver brush that's out there? This one's been at the prep. Has anyone got a time saver brush? So Rach, you can tell me when anyone says yes. I basically developed this brush for the simple reason that I don't like blow drying, but I know that I need to blow dry.
We've got a couple of yeses.
Oh, good.
Love it.
Yeah, it's as light as a feather, isn't it, guys? So it's as light as a feather. I've got the tip on the end, which is for making, taking our section. I've got the wide 160mm barrel so that I can take really long sections and work with lots of hair, because remember, I don't like blow drying, and I also want to be fast, because time is money at the end of the day. Ball bristle will give me the tension, and the nylon in the brush will give me the shine. So if you think about a Mason and Pearson brush, I really have, that was what I was looking for. I was looking for a high grade product. Okay, so I'm just going to show you with one section. So you can see the time saver brush really does do 3/4 of the work. If you saw the live that I did today on Instagram, you'll notice that tomorrow's class in Melbourne, I've packed them all so that in a class, it's good to be able to try something out. So I would then come through and I would load up my hand using the product. We're just going to pretend for today. And of course, just remember, you've already blow dried the root area. So you're going to have a demarcation line. So all you're going to be doing is placing the product on the ends of the hair, okay? So once the product's on the ends of the hair, the hot tip that I use is, most people, and they still think, oh, the brush is great, but they'll cut the product, they'll cut the section into two. But realistically, to actually make your work faster, you want the one section, just one section. Use the whole barrel of this brush, and I like to place it on the top. Rather than working from underneath, I place it on the top. It saves my shoulder. Watch my shoulder, because if I'm working like this, my shoulder comes up, and that's why, has anybody got sore shoulders out there? So if I really think about it, I will actually come through, catch onto all that hair. And this is the speed I blow dry. No faster. There's no reason to go any faster, to be perfectly honest. So high heat full, all the way down like so, and then underneath. So I'm just working that product into the hair. So what happens now is I have got a really nice flat surface at the base, and I've got a really nice smooth at the tails. I would then work my way up. So, and I'm just going to show you this really big middle section all the way through. Everything I'm always trying to do is actually just make your life easier, faster, quicker, and get a really good result. So, who agrees that's the name of the game, isn't it? Easier, faster, quicker, and get a really good result. So nothing else better than that one, is there? so I know you're laughing at something. Are you being
No, I'm not laughing at you.
Right, so big section, and then I'm going to take this up, and then that's how I would actually blow dry that one. It would go straight in like so. Okay, so Rachel, have you got your other mannequin ready for me?
Yes, I have.
Good.
Something I prepared earlier.
Good. Well, I shall swap you.
Now, I did her. Lorna didn't do her.
Oh, right. Okay. So did you colour her as well?
No, you did that.
I didn't actually colour this. This is coloured by Michael from Pravana. So a big thank you to Michael. But it's fun to have a coloured mannequin. The other thing I should show you is my styling belt is sitting there, so that was where my blow dryer was going. So I didn't have to be reaching over, and that's how I'll always work as well in the salon. Okay, so let's have a little look, because what I want to show you now is I want to show you 4 ways to tie off. So I'm going to attempt to go back to this baby here. There you go. Okay, so this is my 5 tips to creating the perfect ponytail. So the first one we've just done, which of course we've done our directional blow dry, and we've talked about right product, right finish. So the next thing we're going to do is choose your weapon for the job. So it sounds really quite strong when I talk of that. And I'll talk you through those when we go back to the full screen. But we're going to be using today mini bobby pins and an elastic band. And I think you will agree that that is probably the #1 go-to product. But I'm going to show you some hot tips and tricks on being able to get a really good finish with that as well. We'll also go through the normal bungees, my favorite, which is bungee tape at the moment, and also some hat elastic. So I love #4 on how do you eat an elephant.
I'm wondering if that's meant to be there.
Yes, it is meant to be there. Someone once told me this one, how do you eat an elephant? And when they talk about how do you eat an elephant, it's when you've got a really big job to do. You know, when you've got, Rachel, you and I, as much as we're laughing about it now, we've both run businesses, when we've got oodles and oodles and oodles on our plate to do, how do you chunk it down? And it's in bite-sized pieces. So it's the same with a ponytail. A ponytail can be really hard. So we need to chunk it down so that it's pieces that we can actually handle at a time. Does that make sense?
Yep.
How do you eat an elephant? Bite-sized pieces. So, and then the other thing we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about this a lot, is the C, the shape of your hand and where your body actually stands. It makes a big difference on being able to create a really nice ponytail. So we're going to be doing a ponytail that's quite a nice tight base, because I think there's a lot of lessons in there. But we will talk about this. I've just pulled off Pinterest, which we're getting, I'm sure you'll all agree, we get quite a lot of our clients that are actually coming in asking for that type of pony as well. So again, we've got 2 different ponies. One is really nice and tight. The one that's really high, that is bungee tape. So I will show you that one. So let's just go back to here. Okay, so let's have a look at the sectioning pattern that we've created. So to create my sectioning pattern, I have used a big tail comb. Okay, it just slides through the hair. Why would I use my normal, this is a normal carbon comb, and then this is the big tail, so hence the name of the comb. It's got the nice wide teeth, really nice big long tail, and it just slides through long hair. Love it. Has anyone got one of these? Anyone got a big tail in their kit? I'd love to know what you think of it. Great for colour work as well. So if any of you, because you know, in our kits, a lot of the work that we do is not just for special occasion work, it's for all sorts. So for your freehand painting, amazing, absolutely amazing. Okay, so let's have a look at the sectioning pattern that I've already taken for me. So it's already been prepped, and the first thing that we did was we actually came from the hairline all the way back to where I want this ponytail to sit. And you can see that what it is, if I just pull this backwards, it's a squared off section. Okay, so it's not a point, it's actually a squared off section that we've got happening here.
Can everybody see that properly?
Yeah, so can you all see
that's
that?
better.
Great, can you see that?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, so we've got a squared off section. And then what I've done is when we've created, so that's the first section. Okay, so first section is always your top section. And then what I've created is I've drawn all the way down to the nape on both sides, so that this creates the middle. Okay, now you'll notice that I haven't actually used the sectioning clips, and you can imagine if I had used the little pin curl clips, we wouldn't hold very much in now, would it, Rachel? So I've actually used something that I use in loads and loads of my my work, is I've used what we call our little secret bands. And really, secret bands are, can't even see it. I know. Can you see that? They are tiny. Who knows what they are?
them on the black.
Can you see it on the black?
Not even there.
No, you can't. So they are, who can tell me what they are? Well, I've used the secret bands to basically take away
Racers
all
bands.
those. Yes, they're racers bands. I just think it's nicer to say secret band. So we've gone through and we've got it all sitting there. Because remember how to get an elephant? We're putting it into bite-sized pieces. I've gone to all that trouble of making sure that I have got nice clean sections, so the card is just to stop the marking. Okay, so let me show you all the weapons that we're going to be using. Okay, so we talked before about an elastic band. So I would say that the elastic band is a go-to. Would everybody agree this is your go-to product? So a really hot tip is, and I've got maybe a couple of different ones here. Okay, so down here on my tool belt, we've generally got, that's your normal size bobby pin. Then you've got your big jumbo bobby pins. And then we also have our babies. And of course, in my kit over here, I've actually got, we're not going to be using them today, but I've also got the kingpin as well. So this is your baby. So the trick is use your baby pins, all right? Just the tiny little baby pins. And a size 11 elastic band is what I find works the best. So we're going to be working with that, and we're also going to be working with good old bungee tape, and also with the original bungee, which has the hooks on the end. Has anyone tried these ones? This one's got the silicone, by the way. Okay, so it's got a silicone finish to it. So I might just pop that down on my magnet. And we're also going to be using hat elastic. Okay, so we'll talk about each as we go. All right, so let's start with the first section. Now, in my pouch, I have got a hairspray. I've got a workable hairspray, just a really nice workable hairspray. The other thing that I'm going to do is put a little bit of blowout cream. I like to work with a cream on the base rather than too much hairspray. Okay, so I'm going to just pop a little bit of it down here on my trolley. And the reason that I do that is so that I don't end up with way too much on my hands. All right, I only want just tiny little bits at a time. And if I squish too much in there, I'm going to be in trouble. Okay, I'm going to change to my nice fine tooth comb. And I'm going to start to bring up the hair. Just the middle section. Now remember, if you're doing a tight ponytail, you're going to want to only do small sections. If you're doing the beautiful loose ponytail, you might bring up the whole back section. And I would bring the whole back section up rather than with a tight comb. That's where the curved comb is actually really good for that finishing as well. I've popped a little bit into the hair. And I'm popping that in, and then I would seal it with a little bit of the hairspray. Now, I'm probably going about half the amount of product that I normally would, for the simple reason that she's a mannequin, and I try very, very hard not to wash my mannequins very often. So the longer in between, the better. Just keeping that nice and clean. Now, we call this Operation Ponytail for a reason, because you really are moving around quite a lot. So I'm going to start with the elastic band and the bobby pins. The first thing I need to do is I need to get how I'm going to stand really, really, really important. Okay, so very, very important is where I'm actually standing, because at the moment, can you see that naturally I want to hold that here, but what happens is it looks really tight, but then as I come away, it won't actually be tight at all. So what I need to do is, we talked about the C of your hand, and I'm just going to maneuver this around, because the hard thing is being able for you to be able to see, but for me to be able to get that C shape in my hand. And here's the C shape. The C shape, so that's why I needed to move my body, needs to come down and hook in like so. So can you see the difference now? Okay, so I've got that really, really nice and tight. Rachel, just so that they can see, I might just get you to hold that tail
That wasn't part of the contract.
Oh, I know. Turn her into a hairdresser before I know it.
Am I letting go?
No, you can just hold on to it. Okay, so here's the C. I'm coming straight in and coming right up so that I've got that really nice and tight. So I'm just making sure that I have all of that in place. Okay, now one of the biggest problems that a lot of people have when they're working with 2 bobby pins and an elastic band is that the bobby pins come out. Has anybody had that? The bobby pins stick out at the end. So that's why I've gone small, but it's also why I'm going to go in on a 90-degree base. I'm going to do a 90-degree base so that it's not just, let's just shove it in. I always go 90 degrees to the head and then slide it in. That way I know that it is guaranteed to actually sit flush to the scalp. Now, notice that my left hand is not moving, okay? It's really, really important that my left hand is actually a pain in the neck to my right hand. And I'm going to come up. Can you see? I'm just going to do something that I really shouldn't do.
Do you want me to let go?
Yeah. No, that's okay. And just straight down. Because I just wanted to really let them see that you needed to be like there before it slid down into here. So,
Is anybody else doing this at home, or is everyone just watching?
as in when you, oh, you mean as in we've got a mannequin?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really.
Do they do it at the same time?
No, generally, and I think, yeah, let that one go now. Generally, I think most people actually sit and watch. Are you all sitting in your lounge room with a glass of wine or a cup of tea or coffee? It is Sunday night, you know, or Sunday afternoon. So next section.
They've fallen asleep.
They've fallen asleep.
Oh, hang on. Vino in hand.
Vino in hand, yes. Who was that?
That was Nat B.
Very good. How nice is that? So, and it'll be interesting because we will probably do a little survey to see. It's the first time we've done a Sunday afternoon. So it would be quite interesting to see what, it's always trying to find what timing is good for everyone.
Yeah. Is it a good time for you all? Norleen said she's relaxing watching you.
Good, good, good.
So you've just got some more of that cream.
Yep, some more of the, yep, some more. And by the way, the reason that I actually choose the 7 seconds blowout cream is it has a little bit of hold in it. Okay, so a little bit of hold is actually really, really important. So you don't want anything too oily. Okay, so you do need something that, you know, I can actually blow dry the hair with this product. And
Nat B said, love to do a bit of education on a Sunday afternoon.
oh, good. Yeah, I thought that it would be quite a nice. I think I've usually done weeknights. It's always hard to, but that's why you've got, you know, recordings, webinars. Sometimes the technology behind it drives me crazy, but I do love that we can have the links. Okay, C shape in my hand, which means that I'm going to gather the C and come right the way up and catch on to both the ponytails. So you're joining into the second ponytail. Now, this is where I would be using 4 different elastic bands, but the difference is this time what I'm doing is I'm showing you lots of different ones. So this is the bungee. So in other words, if I was doing a real live person, I would use 4 bungees, or I would use 4 elastic bands or 4 pieces of bungee tape. But so I'm just wanting to make sure that you understand that I'm just showing you how to use each individual tool. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to take the hook and hook it right into the base and then bring that around. And this is what I like about it. Can you see how you can hook onto it?
Is it easier to use this one?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So you haven't got the pins to worry about.
Yep.
And the silica, it's actually very good for the hair too. So right around and up. So a bit of a hot tip, mind you, is they actually come in a pack like this. So I sell the pack to my client. So I'll basically say to the client, I can use the traditional way, which is the 2 bobby pins and the elastic band, or I can, you can have a packet of bungees, because if you're putting your hair in a ponytail, I think you're going to want them anyway. So that's the way that I pretty much work that one around. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to show you how to use the hat elastic. Now, has anybody ever worked at Fashion Week before? Has anyone ever worked behind the scenes at Fashion Week ever? So if you have, you would have used bungee tape. And bungee tape, sorry, you would have used hat elastic. Hat elastic is awesome for getting, usually if you have worked at Fashion Week, you'll find that someone will hold it and the other person will actually tie it. It is also a really, it's the tightest that you'll get. So and also if you're doing big avant-garde work, that's what I would tie off with. It's just not that comfortable, and it would worry me as a hairdresser that she's going to be in agony by the time she's had a couple of drinks, and then she's going to want to pull it all out. But I'm going to show you, I'm not going to ask you to tie off with me. Did you hear that there's usually 2 in the team doing this? No. So I'm not going to do that to Rach, because I'm going to show you what I would say would be what I would do as a commercial way of using the hat elastic. So I'm going to bring the hair in, and the reason that I'm keeping on turning is so that you can actually see, because the C in my hand is extremely important to me, or the shape that I'm working in. And by the way, I'm going to finish this little ponytail a little bit different today. So I hold in there till, not just till the end of the ponytail. I will give it a little spin on it, because I think it's nice to always have something that's a little bit exciting.
It looks so beautiful and smooth.
Yeah. I think that's really important too. And the directional blow dry, that is one thing that, you know, tomorrow I've got my 2-day class in Melbourne, and that is one thing when we all come back and we talk about what did you notice, what was your challenges? Everybody always says, oh God, it went in so much easier because I took the time to prep, and prep doesn't have to take long. Has anybody ever done a ponytail where you've skipped the preparation because you're busy and you're in a hurry, and you go straight to trying to put it up? It takes you longer. So, okay, so the C again is actually really important. Now, I need this hand to be holding it. So I'm going to turn her around again. I'm just going to see if I can, because I need to get my body to be here. Does that make sense, everyone? Here's the C, and can you see the C scoops up? Because if I hold the scoop here, it means that I've actually got this tight the whole time. It won't bag at the end of it. All right, so you're going to have to excuse me from there, and I'll just put it to where you can both see. That's where I'm standing there. All right, Rach?
Yep, no, that's good.
Good.
It's just the ponytail and the, in the way.
Good. Okay, because I want them to see. If you hold that one up there, good. Okay, so here's a trick with working with hat elastic on your own. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to take the hat elastic and you're going to put 3/4 of the hat elastic on the opposite side. My little pinky is going to pick up that little bit of hat elastic. So this little piece here will sit, the longer piece will come around. Okay, now when it comes around to the opposite side, and I'd generally be standing in the front of it, so I'm sitting at a bit of a bad angle, but can you see what I've done is I've taken the tension away. All right, my hands are also quite low, and I'm going to wrap that around one more time and back towards myself. Okay, my hands are really low here. What would happen if I elevated my hands, guys? If I elevated my hands, what would happen? So while you're actually answering that, I'm now going to do what's called a fisherman's knot. 1 and 2 and in. I can't fish. Are you laughing? Like I did get a fishing rod a couple of years ago for Christmas. I haven't used it yet. I thought it was a great idea, but I really want to fish. I'm going to do that one day now that I know how to do a fisherman's knot. And I'm just going to snip this off. Now, what was my question that I asked before?
What happens if your hand would be down up higher?
Oh, yes. If my hand was up higher, if no one's actually answered it.
Nope.
If my hand was up higher.
Oh, hang on. You lose tension.
That's exactly right. You lose tension and the band ends up here, which is one of the things when we're actually hands-on, because there's one thing to be sitting there with your glass of vino, but who agrees that hands-on workshops or hands-on learning. Has anybody ever watched something on YouTube? I've got this. And then you
try and do it.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
I said to you, I'd love to have a go.
So we might just do that. That could be a good live Facebook, actually. Rachel doing a that would be very fun. We should.
But you would laugh.
Well, yeah, of course. I'm your friend. I'm supposed to laugh. I'm just going to make sure that this is ready for me at the moment, and then I'm going to show you my very, 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 very favourite tool of all, which is, of course, bungee tape. Where is it? Here we go. Okay, so the bungee tape that that we have is in black and which I have got some here, which is what you saw on the shop before. So you've got it in black. I have been told that it's coming out in a couple of different colours as well. And we're going to use, the one that I use a lot of is the clear. Very clever invention.
Has anyone used the bungee tape?
Yeah, good question. So I'm going to cut it into an arrow. So just into a little point. And I'll just take about so much at the moment.
How do you know how much to cut off?
Depends on what you're doing with it. It's a really good question. Once it's something new. I'm always in for something new sitting in my kit. You've got to play. So you'll start to actually know, what it is you're doing with the actual product. It's got like a little backing that I'm just going to peel. Okay, so I'm just going to peel that. I'm going to pop that just down on my styling belt.
Is it sticky on both sides?
No, it's actually not sticky.
It's not sticky.
It's not sticky at all. So the first thing when you are popping it in, first thing everybody asks is, what do you think?
Is it going to stick to the hair when taking it out?
Yeah, that's exactly right. How am I going to get it out? Are you answering all these questions? Are you asking everybody there?
Yes, yes. And Nolene has used this in a course in New Zealand.
Oh, hi, Nolene. So yes, yeah, no, and Nolene, you liked it, didn't you? So it really is a, I'm answering my question for you, but did you like it, Nolene?
She said no.
Did she?
I'm joking.
I'm going to get a new friend. There'll be no champagne after this for you.
No, there's not.
There's not. Okay, yes, she loved it. It is. It's awesome stuff, and it really is quite unusual to work with. C of my hand, capturing the top and back again. Now, this is always, and Nolene, you were there at the class in New Zealand, had such a lovely time over there too. I naturally want to hold the hair here, but when you're really serious about getting a really nice flat finish, you really want to be coming in like so. Okay, I'm going to pick up my bungee tape.
So Nat B said, is it like a silicone sports tape?
I suppose it could be.
Can I feel it?
Yeah.
There's nothing sticky about it. It's just rubber.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably the way to explain it. It's just like rubber. So straight underneath my pinky, and I'm going to take off.
So you peeled the backing off it?
Yep, so there's the backing. Yep, there's the backing now. And what happens is it comes around, oops, hang on. Put that one.
I'm doing this one.
Yeah, I might just take, I've actually, only because I'm trying to move my dolly at the same time, you could actually peel that apart, but I can't be bothered to take too
long. It kind of stretches, doesn't it? And then it grips on itself.
Yeah, it does.
But it doesn't move.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just take another little piece. Maybe just a little bit longer this time.
Yeah, Lorna sells it.
Yes, it's on our, this is on our website. So, which is, I'm just going to turn this way because I felt like I wasn't showing you well enough there.
Don't forget your C hand.
I won't. Thank you. There's my C. Straight back through. So next time you're doing a ponytail, I want you to think about me and think, right, have I got my C? Now that's the angle I wanted. Great. So you can see now. All right. So under my pinky, off comes the little piece and then comes around. And here's the cool bit. This sticks to this. All right. So there is no pins anymore. There is no hooks. It just sticks.
So it's not sticking to the hair when you take it out?
No. When you go to take it out, all you'll do is you will take a little pair of scissors, and your clients, every time clients have actually had it in their hair, they've gone, oh my God, that is the bomb. All they do is they just pierce it, so they can either use a little pair of nail scissors or a little comb, and you just go boom, boom, and it just falls apart, no hair. Amazing, amazing. Is anyone saying amazing? Because
wow, we've got wow.
Wow, I have to tell you, I think it's the bomb. Okay, so let's take the bomb to the next level. I want to just show you just something that we've been playing around with the ponytail, and then we'll start to play a little bit better and have a bit of fun with it.
So why did you cut it on the end like that? You haven't said.
Okay, good question. I just find that when it goes in, and when you actually combine, when you're actually going around in a circle, it becomes smooth. Like it didn't. If you go straight, it's almost.
So it's got something to grip onto.
Yeah, well, it's going to grip onto its own, but it will just go in seamlessly.
Right.
Okay, so it just goes in a little bit more seamlessly. That's all. So I'm going to start to build it up just a little bit, because I think everybody would agree the ponytail looks really cool when it's got that little bit of oomph to it. So depending on how much you want. Now for my beautiful Holly's 18, she had hers sitting just about here, all with bungee tape, and wanted to see it. But I don't want to see the bungee tape today. I just want to build it up with the bungee tape, and then we're going to add some hair extensions to it. So I'm just going to stick onto the piece that I had and bring that around even just that bit there. Can you see already what that's done? All right, it's really pushed this out. I'm going to share with you another little tool that, this is going to be a giveaway tonight too. On the Facebook page, you will actually see that there's a post, and all you need to do is actually write, and what was the words that I had thought of before? Put me in the draw. Put me in the draw. And so you'll be in the draw to win a HTZ. So has anyone got their hands on one of these babies yet? So these are, and you can just tell I just love different tools in my tool belt. So this has got a crimped plate, but what's really cool is I can actually determine how much of a section you've got. One of these, Rach. You should be saying I've got one. I've got one. Yeah, you didn't answer that question very well. So Rachel has got one, and you love it, don't you?
I do love it.
So,
and even I can do it.
You can. I don't think anyone can. Sorry. You can do it very well. Anyone can do this. But I've got it here in my hair now. But all you do is you just allow that, because of the size of the section, that will determine, and you just go bang, 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 gives you some root volume very, 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 very easily. So I would be coming through here and going through, and I choose not to actually crimp or do anything like that to my mannequins. But can you see, I don't need to be taking any sections. I can just go in between and just give it that inside lift without having to section by section by section by section.
Or tease or anything.
Oh, no teasing, so much easier. So now before I do the actual finish, I'm just going to give the ends of this a little bit of a wave. Have I got time to do that? Oh, really? Okay, I'll just give it a little bit of a wave. But this is, and the reason I decided to do this now is so that you can see when to curl. Because of what I'm going to do with the ponytail, I wouldn't want to be doing this at the very end, because it would be just pulling all your look out. So I'm just, and it's very rare, by the way, that I use a straightening iron for curls. I tend to use the magic wand in the Glam Palm. This one is the Absolute Styler, which I love, and I love that my name is on this too. You've seen that? Yeah. So, yep, so, which is really cool. I love the people from Glam Palm make beautiful products, and they're the nicest people.
So why are you doing it today with that then?
I just want it to be really, really loose. Really, really loose, almost like it's not too much. If I really want to curl, to be perfectly honest, my go-to is always a hot wand. If I want something that's going to be looser, a looser finish, if I'm working with really frizzy hair and I haven't prepped really well, and the only reason I wouldn't prep really well, by the way, is I'm trying to cut a few corners, I might pick up this one. I think And you can almost, because this is the medium-sized plate, it's not the small plate or the normal one. So you can see I'm just getting a really nice big wave finish to that one. My favourite iron, to be perfectly honest, is, has anyone tried the Clinic? So the Clinic is by far my favourite wand. I just wanted to put just a little bit of, you know, just a little bit of something in there. Okay, so let me know if anybody has tried the Clinic. I'm going to take a little bit of, and I've picked the blue because she's pink. It's not hard to keep a little bit of coloured wefts in your salon. You know, a lot of girls have got blonde hair and they want to have like a little tiny little bit of pink, but perhaps they're not allowed to have, especially the school kids, they might not be allowed to have the pink. So to keep a couple of wefts and be able to sell them is so much easier. So, oh no, okay, so Amazing Hair Australia, if anybody's after those. Okay.
Do you buy them in packets or individually?
You buy the wefts really quite long, and then we cut them up and we just colour them into all sorts of different colours. I'm just going to use, because I can, the bungee tape, and I'm going to literally stick onto the bottom of the bungee tape and come through, and I'm literally going to stick on very, very easily, by the way, very easily. Much easier is that than using all sorts of different paraphernalia with pins and so forth. This little baby is from, and you might have seen on my Instagram page, a big, huge thank you, a big shout out to Daniel. I've been using Daniel Rowland's stitch for many, many years now, and he actually is in New York, and actually just posted yesterday, he's just got all my time saver brush and my kingpins. I'm really looking forward to seeing combs, what he's going to do with it. I'm just using the foot of it for this particular reason. One thing that you don't want to do with a ponytail is dig right the way down. And if I use a tail comb, it's like you're going to find a whole heap of different things under there. And that's not what I want to do. So the foot of it is almost like the perfect size to work with. Okay, so I pick up this blue hair, which I think is a really pretty colour. Pravana colour. Again, Michael, thank you. This is actually the hair left over from our Evolve collection. So when we did that, I'm just going to do the old spin around. When I get to the tip, I'm going to take the, I'm just going to turn this one right around like so. I'm laughing because George, my dog, has just decided that he's going to sit right under there. Okay, so I'm going to take this and go right the way through. So what you can see is the tip of this little baby, catch on and bring that through like so. Now, if I had a diffuser, which is what I would normally have for working with this, I would do what I tell everyone not to do, which is go close with the hairspray, and then you come in with the diffuser and the hairdryer. So in other words, you're going close just to get that nice and wet, and it will give you that little bit of a oomph to it. Would you like me to take it to the next little bit as well?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Has anyone tried the stitch? Who's tried the stitch? Anyone? Anyone tried the stitch before? I know Nolene would have, because I take them to my classes. Now, I'm just going to pop a little, I'm going to see if a little secret band will do it. If not, I'll go to this. My secret bands are always my go-to, and the only reason that I will come away from it is if it's just too thick to handle it all. So tell me if anybody's used the stitch out there. They are on back order too, by the way, so they will be here in the next week or so. Am I going to have to turn? No, I'm not. Here we go. Okay, so can you see why I like the secret bands, because I don't have to go around twice. So
loves the stitch.
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? And I tell you, this is just one thing that I've used with it. Okay, same principle as a stitch, but the stitch is too little to be able to do what this baby does. Has anyone seen me use one of these? Because I've used them for many, many years, and I have to say it is definitely a must in my kit. Very expensive, of course. Coat hanger all the way from the dry cleaners. Snip off the bottom and pop some duct tape. If you can't work with duct tape, it's not working at all. You've not seen me use this before. You look like you're a little bit worried there, Rachel. Straight the way through. We renamed this the loop-de-loop. Straight through, catch it on, flip it down so that we've now got that kind of look. Okay, so give it a little bit of a scratch. And at this stage, you could go through with some of the expanded powder, which is also really cool. And I'm just going to start to pinch. So you can see when I pinch, I'm only pinching with the top of my fingers. Okay, and I'm just going to bring this all the way through, all the way through. So I always like in my classes to do something a little bit fun with the ponytail, and I've had a lot of fun actually creating these little ones. Last year when we did the ponytail in the classes, we did a lovely little braid up the back. So, and the reason that I try and do that is because it's nice to put all the looks that we do in classes, and it's always like a journey, so that you're learning all sorts of different lessons in the one look.
I love the height that you've got.
Yeah, it's cute, isn't it? Really cute. I'm just going to take, before I do that, just give it just a little bit of an oomph to it. And the height, of course, there was no teasing. Has anybody twigged to that one? So no teasing to get all the height. I think the bungee tape has really helped solve such a lot of problems. And a nice little black ribbon. And or you could have wrapped a tie, and it was, you know, it's, you can either do the ribbons because the ribbons are huge at the moment, or of course you could also, if you like, just wrap a tiny little bit of hair around and then use the stitch as well. So very, 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 very easy. So if I just spin my baby around, that's the kind of finish you end up getting. So what do you think, guys? So look at that little vision that you've got up there. Do you like it? It's great. Good, good. So if I go back to thinking about it is a fundamental. I just like to take the fundamentals, make sure that you've got the fundamentals and then turn them into fun. That's the whole idea of, in fact, a big shout out today to Amber, who I will be seeing on Tuesday. So, so Amber sent me a couple of pictures the other day that she had seen of different ponytails with just different little finishes. And I'm going to have a play with one of those tomorrow with my Melbourne class. So, and that is the good thing about classes is you see something, we'll do the fundamental of the ponytail together tomorrow. We will then take it on a journey of something new that I've just seen. And then we take it into the journey of now working it into being able to work with padding and all sorts of different things like that. So if anybody's keen, tomorrow I'm going to be in Melbourne. You can't come to the workshop because it is totally sold out. And another thing that's really exciting about my workshops from now on is these beautiful dollies are what all the students are going to be working on. I don't know if I told you that. So they've all just arrived, which is really, really exciting. But there is still tickets to come tomorrow night. We've got 4 live models that will come tomorrow night, and that's from 6:30 till 8 o'clock. I'll be at sorry, it's not Headmasters anymore. It's the Masters Institute. So if you want to come along to that, just head over to our website. I'm going to be in Sydney, and then I'm going to be in between all of that, we've got Hair Expo, and then we're heading to Vegas for the International Beauty Show, and then from there I'm going to head to Atlanta. So a really exciting couple of months coming up. And then of course I've got Queensland. I love coming to Queensland, Townsville and Brisbane, and then Warrnambool, and then we actually made another class for Sydney because the only tickets that are available now for the 20th in Sydney, now it's the 20th of May, am I right? Yeah, the 20th of May. That class is totally sold out. I'm really sorry. And we don't double book, by the way, because all our classes you need to be able to You need to be able to have time with everyone. So so very, very important. But you can come to the Look and Learn, or you can come back and see me in October. And be really fast if you do want to join the class in October. I think that's actually already a half full. So very exciting. Look, that's the whole nature of what we do, and I really do love sharing the love of my styling. So I hope you did learn something, and really thank you very, very, very much. If you've got any questions, again, that's why being able to connect on Messenger is great, because I'm always on there. And you know what, a great way to finish it is looking at Nat's comment, which is you never stop learning, never ever. That's why we need one of these beautiful dolls. Have a fantastic Sunday night. Hey, big come in and say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
To my beautiful Rachel.
Thank you.
She's gorgeous. Thanks, everyone. Good night.